Hi, welcome to the Day Palmer Show. And today I have with me a blogger, MA graduate in social sciences and political sciences, particularly human rights single honor speciality, and campaigns on human trafficking, amongst other topics, and has a strong interest in human rights, environmental rights, politics, the news, international relations, society, philosophy, and current affairs in general.
Hi.
Cetvies, yeah. Welcome to the Dave Palmer
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dave.
Is this Cetvies or Cetvies?
Cetvies, Cetvies.
Cetvies, yeah. Okay, and I'll take it
Yeah.
that's French, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's your first name.
Oh, that's my pen name.
Oh, it's your pen name.
So yeah.
Okay,
So
okay. No worries.
yeah.
So tell us how you first got involved with politics. What drove you to have this the drive for human rights issues and everything else?
Well, the main, I think maybe what triggered me is to see suffering, people who suffers from system failures and to address inequalities or injustice, then you need a framework, and you need well, basically you need human rights to yeah, at least to try to address them. So that is the same, the main thing for me. Well, of course, there's an interest in political organization or in the societal organization. Politics, political science is very large. But no, for me, this is to end suffering caused by human organization, I would say. Yeah. If I could study something like I don't know, theology or metaphysics or something like this, I would do it gladly. But personally in my situation is that I went for political sciences for that. Yeah, is to say to try to address those problems. Yeah, it's why human rights.
Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. Do you follow Amnesty quite a lot? That's one of the biggest human rights.
In fact, Amnesty, yeah, because Amnesty, is a beacon. So basically, when I was 20s and myself, human rights was not too much on the plate, at that time. Amnesty International, it was the big name. That is to say, at 20, I could have started trying to write letters and to try to help political prisoners and so forth and so on. I am not too much into this, but with so really it's like in the air, I'd say that. But Amnesty maybe have a problem of big juggernaut where. Maybe problem with independence. I wouldn't go very much onto that, but I've heard through different activism, but there are big names. For example, there is kind of some dependence between UN and big NGOs, and if they are big names, can they still raise their voice? Are just there, so not at all Amnesty example, but is for example. Will they only they are here a little bit as like a big academic, that is to say they tick boxes basically. It's why that kind of concern the more grassroots people can have, is that is to say they are not there to really signal things that are emerging, or really people that are suffering the most because they are the really the minority. These things like that tend to tick boxes and just endorse what is already mainstream, and so yeah, so that's what I would say about for example in the UN. For example, an example I've got this week, I'm with a group about LGBT persecution in Africa. And here it's very, very concrete. It's the Ugandan people. In 2014, they in 2014, there's a law, a new law in Uganda that are called "Kill the Gay" laws. Yeah, and uh, it means that it was death penalty. They asked for death penalty for the gay people, right? So you've got a refugee from Uganda to Kenya, and Kenya, for them, it's if you are LGBT people, is 15 years imprisonment. If you are if you are said to be gay, it's 15 years imprisonment. And this refugee from Uganda to Kenya are basically daily assaulted. Even in fact, last month he ended up in a murder. Within a UN camp. Yes, it's
Yeah, yeah.
UN, yeah, UN camp, UNHCR. So they are in a UN camp. Yeah, they are refugees. It's the only camp LGBT for LGBT that is supposed to protect LGBT people. Yeah, and uh, the only representative for the UN and the NGOs that are working for them end up doing absolutely nothing for these refugees. Yeah? The LGBT organizations such as Peter Thatcher, ILGA, Filia, and so forth have been for months and months and months trying to raise alarm, saying, you know what, these people are king inside the UN camp. Yeah? No one is doing anything, not the UN. Certainly not. They don't. The victims don't even see the staff. They don't even see UN staff. Yeah, and all the NGOs, no one is doing anything. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that probably sums up about the Amnesty International. So I mean, during the pandemic, there was quite a few protests going on, and not only around the lockdown and anti-lockdown protests, but also in particular. I mean, there was Belarus, Lebanon, I think, when the explosion happened, but in particular, one in Hong Kong, and then after that, shortly after that, was the Black Lives Matter um, in America, which obviously got concluded, luckily, with their first conviction of a cop that killed or murdered. But I had someone on the show already, an attorney from America who spoke. We spoke in depth about the Black Lives Matter movement and particularly about the George Floyd killing. But obviously in China, I haven't really touched much on that, mainly because I probably live only 2 hours away from there, actually. Well, 2 hours away from Hong Kong as well.
Well,
But
plus if you are Philippine, there's problem. There's military problem between the Philippines and China in here. Yeah, the island.
yeah, a little bit. But the president at the moment is friends with China, so it's kind of eased off a bit. But there's still kind of some
So there's
talks
still
about it.
boats. There is still a boat.
There's some
Chinese
stuff
boat.
going on still. Yeah, China's been reported to still go on, waters that don't belong to them. But yeah, so the process in Hong Kong, and I've seen in particular you also talk about China and their human trafficking and organs as well. I mean, I didn't know much about that. I've been to China a few times, but you would never think that. I think really,
No,
apart from the fact
but,
that it's an authoritarian communist regime.
yeah.
So yeah, tell
Well,
us about that.
we are in a situation where really, unfortunately, we didn't know about Chinese. It's what the result of nationalized media is, that all about yourself, maybe about one or two. It's kind of propaganda, just looking at your own navel. So the result is, for me, I know French national media and English national media. Nothing was known about China, and all of a sudden, because they become a big, huge economic power, like you know about that. But it's true that who knows really about dictatorship 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Not we knew about communism, but communism might be is too vague. Yes. So on top of who knows currently about censorship in China? I mean, the amount of censorship in China is like mind-boggling. The social control as well are they mark their citizen, and after that, this is gonna depend on the social care, the university they can attend, the transportation network they can enjoy, and so forth. Only just because of the official mark their citizens. Yeah, so there's kind of a social credit system, it is called, and it is absolutely not. It's normal you didn't know, because me, I kind of read the kind of a lot about China. Yeah, kind of a lot about Tibet, the invention of Tibet, what they do about to debt trapped Asian part, Asian country, African country, Arab wars, and so forth. That is to say, to give things infrastructure that doesn't really help the locals, and for debts that the people, they know they can't repay the debts, and so if you can't repay the debt, they do like US do with home, they repossess you. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So I see.
about organ trafficking is this is very, very official. For example, until 2014, they harvest political prisoner organ, just like this.
Right.
So
So
death
can you
penalty, and
explain a bit more about what that is?
so you are political prisoner, you go into death penalty, and you say your organ, so you are killed basically, legally, but your organ are harvested. And this in 2014 they did it officially, they just did it like this. The international community say no, you've got to stop right now. They say, okay, so we do something else now. We ask for them to give us a consent. So I give you consent, you can take my organ. Yeah. And these guys but what the medical professional investigation and so on knows is that the amount of organ, but organ transplant that happen in China cannot depend on consent alone. It cannot do that. Yeah, there's thousand of organ, thousand maybe not thousand and thousand, but there's thousand of organ transplant done, and it can't be through consent alone.
Yeah, but I mean, like India, it has a big population, probably 1 billion. That's almost a seventh of the world population. So I suppose when you look at those numbers,
No,
per
but
capita.
yeah, but I mean, of course, they look after these numbers. Yeah, the medical investigator, of course, they know that China is an absolutely huge. China is a continent. It's huge. China is huge. Well, it's 1 billion something people. So in any case, yeah. But even though if you count all of this, it is not possible that it's it's like fresh organ or something like this. You go to China and you say, look, I've got $3,000, $300,000, whatever it costs. Can you find a kidney? No problem. 6 months after, you've got the kidney. So something is happening here. Yeah. And until 2014, it was done officially anyhow.
Right, I see. I see you mentioned in your bio about the Belt and Road Initiative, and I know China obviously is trying to win some friends, because it's an international initiative. Australia's just pulled out. I can't remember the reason why, but what can you tell me about the Belt and Road Initiative and China's obviously stance on human rights violation?
Alors, about the Belt Initiative, so the new Silk Roads, this I would have had to revise my papers to say something about it. What I would say about one kind of area is the China exerts soft power and hard power, like military power, like they do to against Tibet, Thailand, the Philippines, and so forth. So this is military power. Even Mongolia. There's friction with India. There's friction. China is known to have friction with all its close neighbors. And there's also the soft power. I mean, they are in Europe, yeah. I mean, they have been in Africa, the African Union. They found evidence of, because of course, China is all over Africa, yeah. So they build the African Union building, and they found within the intramuros, within the wall, they find ways the Chinese spied on the African Union, yeah,
You
because
mean
they obtained
Intramuros in Manila?
in the African Union.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The political well, African Union, you know, it's like
Yeah, I know, yeah.
all
The whole of
African
Africa, yeah.
countries.
Just like
Yeah,
European
like
Union, like
Europe.
that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they build the building. Yeah, it's Chinese people that build the building. Yeah. Also, there is something that is very worrying, is that if China is building something in Africa, it's not gonna benefit African people. Okay, all the money is gonna go for China investors, yeah, into China bank and so forth, and all the stuff is gonna be Chinese. There's not gonna be African people there building their own the African infrastructure. No. All the stuff are imported into the countries. So yeah. And their soft power, which is what and this is in Europe, yeah, a G5 that we don't know if is gonna be perhaps it's gonna be the biggest Trojan horse of what you can imagine, because all the data we know about, all the data you that goes through internet. Then if it is taken by Western or Chinese, basically, but into the wrong end, then you know absolutely everything about what people can do. Yeah, so I think the internet and industry and the soft power, like Arabia Saudi and so forth, they sponsor universities. For example, in case of China, they sponsor a Confucius Institute and so forth. So if you sponsor a university, you will start saying, you know what, the same as what is happening in China because of the censorship in China. They say, no, you can't say anything about Xi, our president. You can't say
Yes.
anything. Don't say anything because
People's been thrown to jail for that.
yeah, you can go to jail. We saw what they did with well, filmmaker, like the Oscar winning one, that it was just last week, yes. But me have been are known about organ trafficking in China after reading years and years about China's situation. Yeah, years at least. I've known about this organ trafficking thanks to Canada. How is it called? You know, the Miss World. She was Canadian Miss World. She was the representative for Canada, yeah, but she was of a Chinese origin, yeah. And she said she starting saying no, there's problem with censorship in China. For example, there is people in prison. They are prisoner of conscience and so forth. They are so it's like a few years ago. So the president say, because this president like concentrated power now is chef of the army and so forth, yeah. And he said, no, you're not gonna answer the thing. So the Miss World was happening in China, but they say to the Canadian one, no, you're not entering because you criticize China, yeah. And this person went on criticizing them, and Isa knew about organ trafficking in China. because she was the one saying, no, look, what is happening, even this is happening.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to be looked at with China, and I know obviously with North Korea, for instance, it's the most secretive country in the world. But China, I mean, when they went over to the investigators from WHO went to investigate the coronavirus, where it started and what started it, I think China was still kind of like not forwardcoming with information, and that it was kind of like still held close to the chest, cards still held to the chest kind of thing. So, do you think that's plays a part in what China does in terms of human trafficking, organs, organ trafficking in China?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to sort of have a guess here that because of China's kind of they kind of like don't give too much information out. Does that
yeah.
does that contribute to the organ trafficking and child sexual trafficking? The fact that they don't say much, so nobody's going to know about it around the world. So it makes it harder.
No, that's for sure. There are still there is this conflict between knowing and not knowing, right? Because in the US, for example, we know that actually, currently there's it's a state figure. Yes, it's states is produced by the state, so the department. Yeah. A national department, right? So it's official, really official figure is 300,000 children a year in the USA that is at risk of being sexually exploited in the US. 300,000. I mean, it's enormous, right? And it's the problem with crime is that you can't quantify crime, but you are right. There is this thing that if you don't know is yes, it's with corruption, also is with tabooization. No one wants to talk about it in any case. Also is because the problem of not hearing about anything is because basically it's tolerated. It's like when we are hearing nothing about what was happening in churches, because basically it was so common currency that it was not even a topic for concern. So yes, mind after that there is a kind certainly of an erosion as well. Is that the moment the taboo is hard enough for this problem not to be addressed, then is kind of good to go. It's kind of you end up with a child marriage as current corruption and so forth, as slavery, as things. These aberration that illegal in some country will start being legal. So
yeah, well, that's quite a talk on China, mainly with the human rights issue. As I say, I'm sure I'm going to have you back on the show with anything else that pops up where you cover the topic, because as you say, political science is a huge, vast topic, really, isn't it? So, but yeah, well, how can people find out more about what you're doing? I mean, you're a blogger, so where can people go to?
Yes, thank you. Yes, my blog is in the name of humanrights.com.
Right, okay. Anyone that's listening, I will put that link on the show notes. So whenever you want to refer back to it, you can certainly scroll down the show notes and click the link, and you'll get to www.inthenameofhumanrights.com. Well, Cetvies, I think I said that right now. Thanks a lot for coming and joining me. And I know we mainly focused on China, but human rights issues are all over the world. As I say, I was focused on the US because of some stuff that's going on there, which the whole world knows about. The Black Lives Matter movement, which was global actually. But yeah, thanks for coming on and talking about this important issue with China and human rights issues. And yeah, thanks a lot for coming along and talk to my audience today.
Okay, thank you.